The Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.
What are the differences between a top relationship and a flop one?
Okay, top relationship, if you have someone that understands you well, accepts you as you are. On the other side, if you don't have these kind of things in a relationship, it's definitely not top relationship, I would say.
I'd say it's all about communication, like being able to communicate with each other 100%. I feel like that's key into something that's good and something that's not good, and also trust. I feel like that's what like is the difference between a good and bad relationship.
For me, the best relationships I've ever been in, and the relationship that I am permanently in, is making each other laugh. So I think like making each other laugh is like absolutely key, and then mutual respect, I guess, like understanding who each other are and where you're coming from, and being able to trust that you can work through hard stuff together.
I would say communication, so the ability to work through conflict or differences effectively. And then trust and, intimacy with that person.
What can a person do to rescue their flop relationship?
I think they should communicate with the other person, try to understand what the problem is, and try to find a middle field where they can both work on it.
It depends if you love the person or not. If you're in a relationship, like a situationship, like a relationship out of convenience, sometimes it's not worthwhile. Because it can cause a lot of distress and waste a lot of time. But I think if you have someone that you really love, it's worth fighting for that relationship.
Just talking to them and being open and honest. I think that's key, and just telling them how you feel and what you can do better. Try and find the differences and try and make them similarities.
What do you do to keep your relationship as a top one?
Tell the truth. We're very open and honest. We don't really hide anything from each other. We know everything about each other, and we just try and build daily. And each day it's about choosing that person, and she chooses me every day. And I know that she could walk away any time, so I treasure the time I have with her. We don't ever have our phones out when we're around each other. We focus on each other, and that means that when we're together, we focus on loving each other and being with each other and experiencing that, not TikTok or Instagram.
I try to reassure her, and let her know what I'm doing, nice gestures for her, whether that's buying flowers or seeing her and surprising her, but also communicating as well, as I said, and just keeping on top of that.
Do you think the fear of having a floppy relationship is what makes some people to want open relationships?
I personally don't agree with that. Maybe some people who are a bit more open-minded, or they might opt to go for something like that. There's a way out, or for a solution for themselves or for the relationship. I wouldn't think that would be a solution for the relationship at all. I think it just ended up in increasing more problems, I think.
People work in different ways, people think in different ways, and I think if you're truly happy with someone, but there's a way that you operate, but both of you operate where you get an extra thing from other people. I don't know, maybe that's okay with me. I don't think it has to be a flop to mean that, but I think sometimes it is. Sometimes it's probably a bad sign, but sometimes it's fine.
I think people are looking for something that they don't quite know what it is, and so if they're not finding that in their partner, whoever that is, then they'll look for multiple partners to try and get that from other people. So I think that's more, I don't really know the answer.
Which one do you want? A top marriage, the one that is the best, or a flop one that is a failure? Let's talk about the signs of a flop marriage. Let's talk about the signs of a flop marriage. Sign number 1, it is tedious. Tedious. There's lack of common interests. There are no common interests. So it is tedious, it is boring, is nauseating, there is nothing there that is exciting, nothing new. Why? Because the couple does not do anything. They don't make an effort to know each other's likes or to like what the partner likes. They don't make an effort to please the other. They are selfish. They just want to do what it pleases them. So that's why it's tedious. One goes one side, the other one goes to the other side. One is watching a movie on the living room, the other one is in the bedroom, scrolling on social media. So you don't, the moment you don't do things together, you don't spend time together, you don't share a common interest, things become very tedious. You have nothing to talk about. You have no experiences to share. You're always by yourself. You may be in a marriage, in a relationship, but it feels like you're lonely. It doesn't make any difference because the person is there just like a roommate. Yes, it's a roommate. Do they say roommate here, Shad? Yes. In England, yes? It's a roommate. You're just sharing a flat. You're just helping each other pay the bills. Because you don't have any excitement. You don't do anything new. You don't talk about what you like, what you dislike. You don't try new things in order to please. So when a marriage is like this, a marriage is a flop. It wasn't supposed to be this way. You know, in a top marriage, here's what happens. In a top marriage, the husband and the wife, they make an effort to please each other, to like what the other one likes, even though they don't like. But they get interested in those things only to please the husband, only to please the wife. If you don't want your marriage to be a flop, so make it interesting, okay? Try to like what your husband, what your wife likes. Share common things. Spend time together. Try new things, new experiences, not bad experiences. I'm not talking about bad things. No. Talk about good things. Let's go here, let's go there. Go to new places. Make it interesting. Keep romance alive. That's what we always say here on the Love Talk Show. Keep romance alive. Make things interesting. Remember when you were dating, the things you would do. Yes, when you were dating, you would think where to go, what am I gonna do with her? Tomorrow we're gonna go out, where we're gonna eat. You would make plans because you wanted to make it interesting. Because guess what? If she was bored, or if he was bored, there wouldn't be a second date, or a third, or a fourth, or a marriage. So each date you had to make it interesting so you could have the next one. Am I right? But after you get married, it's easy to think, oh, okay, now we are married, we're supposed to stay together. No matter how boring I am, how tedious our marriage is, this person is always going to stick to me. No, on the contrary. Now that you're married, now that you have to take care of your wife, your husband, even more. You have more time. You are learning. You are growing together. You are maturing together. So you have even more conditions to have a great relationship. When the marriage is a flop, is when it's sickening. There's harmful excesses. Okay? It's sickening, it's poisonous, because there's harmful excesses. For example, when one of the partners work too much, there's too much work. A person is overloaded with work. It's an excess. There's no attention. There's no time to go out. Every time you get home, you're only tired. You only want to rest. You don't even want to talk to your wife or to your husband because you're too tired to even talk about your day. That's an excess. Maybe you're working too much. Maybe you're working too much. It's an excess. Any type of addiction, an addiction by its meaning, is an excess. Is an excess. Any type of addiction. Too much drinking, smoking, too much playing video games. Even the cell phone or tablet, this can be an excess. This can be an excess. When you stay on social media for hours scrolling for hours, Even when you are in bed, both of you are in bed, so you have your cell phone, you are there spending time on social media when you should be spending time with your husband, with your wife. Too much TV, too much of anything, whatever is an excess. You know, even good things, even supposedly good things, when there is an excess, they become bad. Even what is good, when you pass the normal dosage, it becomes a poison. It is bad. Too much of something, too much exercise, for example. The husband, the wife, too much exercise, but they don't spend the same time with the husband, the wife. Whenever something is too much, that's harmful, that's sickening. It's going to make your marriage be a flop, okay? We're going to go now, we're going to make a pause here. There are two more signs I want to talk about of a flop marriage. But before, let's watch this report. Pay attention, please.
What do you do when your relationship is at the stage where you no longer feel joy in returning home to your partner? What happens when there is little or no intimacy at all between the couple? How about when there is no dialogue or there is indifference when speaking to each other? At the beginning, most relationships bring about those feelings of butterflies in the stomach, with sparks that keep both partners in tune and connected to each other. However, over time, some find it difficult to keep their love flame alive. Some people even prefer to opt for an open relationship. This is when an intimate relationship is non-monogamous. That is, both partners can see other people. This is perhaps an attempt to bring more excitement to and minimize their current relationship being a flop. Recently, couple Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith discussed their open relationship during an episode of the Red Table talk show that Jada hosts.
We decided that we were going to separate for a period of time, and you go figure out how to make yourself happy, and I'll figure out how to make myself happy.
Well, at that particular point in time, it was indefinite.
Yeah, I really felt like we could be over. We
were over.
I think you need to say clearly what happened.
As far as what?
You and I decided we were going to take our space, and what happened?
Yeah, and then I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes, it was a relationship, absolutely.
2 years ago, the couple had admitted that they are in an open relationship. During the Facebook Watch show, Jada confirmed that she had a relationship with their son's friend, 29-year-old rapper August Alsina. The rapper had caused some controversy when he revealed that he had had a romance with Jada since 2015 and that it had lasted for years.
I was in a lot of pain and I was very broken.
Having an open relationship seems to have permitted the indiscretion as well as rescued the marriage, as Will and Jada got back together after experiencing this period of separation. After the disclosure about Jada's relationship with August, Will had this to say about marriage. Marriage ain't for the weak at heart. There are just certain things that you have to go through. I wish it could be all magic and miracles. Will and Jada have been married since 1997 and have 2 children together, Jaden and Willow. If a relationship starts to show signs of being a flop, this might indicate that some action needs to be taken. A top relationship requires constant efforts to keep it interesting and not allow routine to destroy the spark between the couple. On tonight's program, you will learn to identify the signs that your relationship could be turning into a flop one. You can learn how to save your relationship by learning how to invest in it. Stay tuned.
The third sign that I want to talk about today is this: mismatched conversations. Mismatched conversations. So, the couple never agrees on something. It never agrees. The decision always comes one-sided. The husband takes the decision without consulting the wife, or the wife goes there and she does whatever she wants, just like you've seen in Will Smith case. And there's this mismatch. They don't talk. They only talk basic things. There are couples that they only talk about the bills they have to pay, who's going to pick up the kids in school, and so on and so forth. But they don't deal with the issues. They don't have an open conversation. They don't talk about their issues, what they feel. They're not open. They're not sincere, transparent. They cannot have a conversation without fighting. So these are signs of a flop marriage. Because in a good marriage, in a top marriage, so even if you have discussions, you can talk about it in a healthy way. Even if you disagree, because you have different points of view, of course, everyone does. Even if you have the Holy Spirit, you can disagree sometimes. But you're not going to be enraged. You're not going to keep grudges. You're not going to behave in a bad way. You're not going to scream at each other. No. You, with common sense, reasoning, you hear the other person's side. You understand. You put yourself in his or her shoes. And the other person does the same for you. The fourth sign of a flop marriage: non-existent or horrible intimacy. So when in a marriage there's no intimacy, okay, you sleep in different beds, different bedrooms, okay, there's no touch, no kiss, there's no caress, there are no hugs, there's no intimacy. That's a sign of a flop marriage. It's a flop marriage. This marriage is doomed to end. It's doomed to end because you always look out there what you don't find at home. There's a saying that says you're always going to look out there what you cannot find at home. Something like that. I'm translating here on top of my mind. You're always going to look for something out there whenever you cannot find at home. So there's no intimacy, there's no touch, there's no kiss, there are no compliments, there's no affection, there's no showing of love, of emotions for the other person. So let's see what is a flop marriage for you to learn from now. Number one, tedious, lack of common interest. That's a flop. Okay? A top marriage will be exciting, new experiences. You keep romance, you keep the flame alive. Okay? Number two, sickening, full of excesses. Okay? It's too much fights, too much disagreement, too much of something, too much of getting on each other's throat, too much yelling, too much telling the person what you want. No, it needs to be balanced. A top marriage, you know when to stop, you know when to leave the person at peace. You know when you say something, you know when you have to be quiet. There is a balance. Number three, no conversations, mismatched conversations. There are no talk, no communication at all. A top marriage, you talk, you get better at it. Okay, you express yourself, you can say what you feel, what you're missing, and so on and so forth. And number fourth, no existent or horrible intimacy. In a top marriage, there's going to be touch, there's going to be intimacy, there's going to be feelings, there's going to be the time that you're together, you enjoy being together. There must be these things for you to be in a top marriage. Okay?
The Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.